It is Monday, November 24th, 2025, and it is 9:09 p.m. So it is the overnight market right now on Robinhood. And so far for today, I am up 5.69%. At one point, I do think I was at 251. So at around 5 p.m., it was the aftermarket. So I did do okay today, but it still doesn't feel as good as it could be, if that makes any sense, because I am still down roughly 50K from all-time highs. So even though I am up big today, it doesn't feel like it just because of how big the drop was. But Google today doing very well, up over 10%. Lemonade almost 10%. We got SoFi 9%. So it is a great day for a lot of stocks. Just to give a quick update on my recent transactions, I believe the only thing I have to update is I did go ahead and sell another cash secured put on Nike. So I collected another $200 and I've got some small dividends along the way. So as of right now, I do have a cash secured put on Nike, well, two of them at different strikes, and then I have a cash secured put on PayPal. So I did increase my risk a little bit in my portfolio, but it's risks that isn't going to be accruing interest until I get assigned these shares. So it's I decided to go this route instead of just straight up buying the stock or buying like a leveraged ETF where I'll have to be paying margin, but the upside is potentially greater. So I just decided to go this route to be quote unquote safer. But it also seems like Solana had a great day today, almost up 4%. We have Robinhood that is up almost 7%. Nike surprisingly down over 1.2%. Palantir up almost 5%. Pepsi slightly down 0.7%. SoFi, of course, we already touched on that. REPX is up over 5%. Honest over 3%. But when it comes to Honest, it's down so much. This move doesn't really make a difference. And then, of course, PayPal basically flat today, slightly down. When it comes to comments on my previous video, I only got one from a day ago. And honestly, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. But you did ask, yeah, but you could also sell a few calls at 40, 30, 20, and 10 delta, and then leave at least half the position free. If you do get called away, you can sell a leap put on your original basis. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think you're referring to the wheel strategy. And to be honest with you, I just like to keep it simple now. You know, I used to do all of that crazy option strategy stuff, wheeling stocks, but right now, if I do get my shares called away on Robinhood, my gains are so big that it's going to end up being a huge tax bill anyway. And I kind of want to keep all of my shares. So that's kind of why I'm very conservative and very picky about my timing when it comes to my Robinhood covered calls. And when it comes to my original basis before all of my profits, it's around $10. So selling $10 strike cash secured puts on Robinhood, I don't think would be the best return on my capital, but I do appreciate the comment. And for anybody that doesn't yet already know, I just wanted to give a quick plug to my X account if anybody did want to go ahead and follow me. But I did respond to this post I thought was kind of funny, where a reporter asked, would a $2,000 dividend check be inflationary? And Besant said, maybe we can persuade Americans to save that. And honestly, you know, I think my response says it all. I don't think Americans are going to be saving that $2,000 stimmy check. I mean, and we already have an example of what Americans would do with their stimmy check. The last time we got one was during the lockdowns. And if any of you guys don't know, we had so much FOMO in the stock market, the crypto markets especially, right, with NFTs and all of these like pictures of rocks just going up like 1,000% in value. It was stupid, just to put it bluntly. So yeah, I think persuading Americans to save is a very difficult challenge. Something else that I thought was kind of interesting that I saw on Yahoo Finance is Bitcoin losing 900 million in ETF outflows while Solana gained. And honestly, I didn't want to read it. I think there was like a paywall too or something like that. But if anybody here is familiar with Solana, feel free to comment down below. But in my personal opinion, I think Bitcoin is just like it doesn't feel like there's anything to it, right? Like Solana and Ethereum, you can stake it. There's like utility to it. I remember back during the lockdowns when Solana was like $12. There were video games that you could play and actually earn Solana, right? You can use it for different applications. So there was like different use cases for Solana, actual utility value versus Bitcoin, which is just like it goes up as long as the next person is willing to pay more, that type of thing. But there was also this post from the Wheelie Investor, just talking about his big day today with the market being green. And then Aditya, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but he points out that Robinhood gives you a ton of margin relative to your actual equity that you actually have in your account. And I did comment that I wish they were a bit more conservative with that. And obviously, either way, people are going to complain. Like right now, Robinhood gives you a ton of leverage, access to margin, which is a good thing because it's, usually all throughout history, it was only for the elites, right? Having access to a ton of margin at 5% interest rates was unheard of until Robinhood came along. So obviously, it's a good thing that Robinhood is changing the game, but at the same time, is it really smart to give everybody a ton of margin? I don't know, but you also have to take into account like who wants to be the one that says this person deserves this amount of margin versus the next person, right? So I get the whole thing about just give people free will and then let them deal with the consequences if they want to make a dumb decision. So I could see it both ways. Another interesting post that I saw from Unusual Whales was Americans are defaulting at crisis levels per Fortune. Serious student loan delinquencies hit a record of 14.3% in Q3 2025, while auto loan delinquencies rose to 3%, the highest rate since 2010. And I did go ahead and ask Grok to just elaborate a little bit on how this affects SoFi. And of course, he did comment, or it commented, I don't know what Grok's pronouns are, but he says rising delinquencies indicate economic stress, but SoFi's Q3 2025 earnings show resilience. Charge-offs fell, student loans down, delinquencies stable. Their focus on high credit borrowers help mitigate risk or impacts, though prolonged trends could pressure lending volumes. And I did go ahead and tag the SoFi Insider, who is probably the best account when it comes to like SoFi news. And I asked him if he approves, and I believe so. I believe he did say that he does. Another post that I thought was kind of funny from this account, I'm not very familiar with, but he says the internet says you live in the best time in human history be excited, and picture of how 90% of young guys live, which is referring to Taxi Driver. I thought it was hilarious. And honestly, this is probably true for a lot of us young guys. Minimalism is not bad as long as you have structure and a budget, right? An actual goal that you're trying to meet, along with actually keeping up with your place, right? Cleaning up your apartment. And, obviously this is a finance related channel and I'm kind of getting off topic, but even if you live like in a 1-bedroom apartment, right, just making sure your clothes are clean, your bed is clean, I think, it's important. But it is a funny post. And another interesting post that popped up on my X feed with an account that I'm not too familiar with, but he says, where's this Robinhood? I'm tired of using spreadsheets. And he's referring to the dividend tracker that was announced during the Hood Summit 2025. And I did respond that I posted this a while back, which is my post from 6/23/2025, talking about how I think Robinhood should have a calendar that accurately tracks everything after all fees, right? The current P&L tracker that's in the app doesn't accurately track everything. It excludes fees. So I think having an accurate P&L tracker with realized gains and losses along with dividend income, I think would be very interesting and very useful to have in the Robinhood app. And honestly, I'm still going to use spreadsheets even if Robinhood announces these features because I'm paranoid and I don't really fully trust any platform, right? Like the P&L tracker in Robinhood, obviously I know that there's a P&L tracker, but I still prefer to track my own on my spreadsheet because like how I noticed Robinhood does not include all the fees in that tracker, so I prefer to just do it on my own. And finally, another post that I thought was interesting. This is basically talking about how leverage long ETFs reached like record trading volumes, I believe, or it's the highest since post-April sell-off recovery. So basically, lots of dip buying in leveraged ETFs, most likely from, as Luke points out, most likely from people trying to gain back all of their losses with leverage. And of course, my response was bear trap into a bull trap. So like how we saw today, it was a very green day, probably squeezing out those early shorts, people that are trying to short the market, that were trying to short the market on Friday or over the weekend. Squeeze all those people out either today or the rest of this week. And then I believe that obviously this is just my speculation, but I believe whatever rally we get here will just ultimately end up as a bull trap.